it's Julie from Julie Holmes Life Coaching, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to memorize anything fast. I am going to teach you an ancient, powerful memory technique that mental athletes and memory champs use to memorize multiple decks of shuffled playing cards in under 5 minutes. So whether you want to pass the bar exam, memorize a speech, or I don't know, possibly impress your friends with your new superhuman skills, stick around to the very end of this video because I'm going to share with you a bonus that is going to help you dramatically increase these memory skills. So the technique is called the Memory Palace, and it was created by a man named Simonides of Chios. I hope I said that right. If you want to learn more about the technique in great detail, there's a book called Moonwalking with Einstein, and it looks like this. Sorry, I only have the audio version. So the idea behind most memory techniques is that you want to take whatever boring thing that you're trying to memorize and turn it into something exciting, different, and fun. Connect what you want to memorize into a series of engrossing visual images. You'll want to change them in an imagined space. So now the forgettable becomes the unforgettable. So let me explain how this works. So there are two very important components to this technique, and they are space and imagery. Now, with space, you're going to want to choose a space that you're very familiar with, for the first time especially. So maybe it's your childhood home, maybe it's your place of work, maybe it's where you live now, but you need to know the space very, very well. So imagery. When you think of the imagery that you're going to want to use, it needs to be either funny, vulgar, or violent. Now, I do not condone violence, but for the sake of learning this technique, it can be very useful. Another important component of this technique is try not to put more than 5 to 7 items in each room. And the reason for this is because our brains really cannot remember more than 7 items at a time, plus or minus 2, and you definitely want to be successful with this technique, so try to keep only 5 to 7 items in each room. Okay, so before I confuse you too much, I'm going to give you an example from the book. So they start out by suggesting to memorize your to-do list. Now, the teacher who was teaching his student in the book gave him his to-do list to memorize. I won't go through the whole list, but I'll give you a few of the items. Some of the items on this list were a jar of pickled garlic, cottage cheese, peat smoked salmon, and 6 bottles of wine. 6 bottles of white wine. The teacher has the student standing outside of his childhood home at the mailbox. And in the mailbox is this jar of pickled garlic. And he has him take the pickled garlic and drink the juice from the jar, being able to really take in the smells and the taste, and it's something that you definitely are not going to forget, drinking a jar of pickled garlic. So the second item, he has him walking up to the front door. On the porch is an enormous tub of cottage cheese, and inside the tub of cottage cheese, he has, I can't remember who he used in the book, but for the sake of this video, let's say Donald Trump swimming in the buff in this tub of cottage cheese. So probably an image you're not going to forget, right? Side note, you are always going to be moving right to left or left to right because you want to be consistent. So decide if you want to move right to left or left to right. He has him walk into the house, and in the house is a gigantic piano. And underneath the piano, I'm kind of paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what was in the book, but Pete smoked salmon, right? So underneath the piano, he has Pete smoking. And on top of the piano is a salmon. And let's just say the salmon is laughing at you or telling dirty jokes. So Pete's hiding under the piano. The salmon is, let's say, telling dirty jokes. Kind of hard to forget, right? The next item in the room is a couch. And on the couch, he has 6 bottles of wine. Now, the 6 bottles of wine are sitting on the couch, but they're not just sitting on the couch. He has the 6 bottles of wine fighting over which one of them is the best. So basically, you are taking images and you are putting them in vessels in a space that you know very, very well. So a vessel can be anything that can hold an item. So a refrigerator, a kitchen sink, a microwave, a desk, a couch, a bed, anything that can hold an item, a closet. So pick 5 to 7 vessels in each room and create your imagery. Here's a really good way to begin to practice this technique. You can start by having a friend or family member write down 20 random objects, and then take your childhood home or your school or your place of work and pick 5 to 7 vessels in each room and just walk around the room, moving either left or right, and create dramatic mental imagery using humor, violence, or something vulgar. So that is basically the memory palace technique. Now I'm going to leave a link in the description below of a video where one of my teachers, David Snyder, is teaching a course on the memory technique. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, and what's so cool about this video is that he puts the class in a deep learning state before he teaches the technique. So I highly encourage you to watch that video. So now that you have learned how to memorize anything fast by using the memory palace technique, leave a comment below and let me know how you plan to use it. So if you liked this video, please click the like button below, share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. I would love to hear how you plan to use it So now that you have learned how to memorize anything fast by using the memory palace technique, I need to use the memory palace technique.